Growing up, my faith taught me to care. It taught me to accept everyone and to love. But my religion does not care enough to accept those who have strayed away from the path that our ancestors have drawn. Parsis arrived in India almost a millennium ago to escape the religious persecution in Iran. We are known as Parsis because of our Persian heritage. A beautiful thing about our culture is our strong sense of community, which has been twisted into something that denounces any woman who does not marry within the religion. Being a Parsi has influenced my core beliefs. It has made me the person I am today. But my love for the religion is constantly overshadowed by my fear.
I think for me, being Parsi is my whole identity. It's a huge part of my identity and who I am.
So what comes to mind when someone says the word Parsi, the first thing that comes to mind is culture.
So with Parsi, of course, the three main golden words come to my mind. That's good thoughts, good words, good deeds.
For me, it's a combination of both the cultural aspects and the religious aspects of how I was brought up, my value system, my belief system, and how I live my life.
But there's just something about the Parsi culture, for me at least, it's been identifiably individualistic. It has an inherent, I always believe that it had an inherent taste of freedom attached to it.
This is what our prophet Zarathustra has preached and taught us. So this is our best that can bring to our mind with Zarathustri's and Parsis.
My relationship with the religion throughout my childhood, throughout growing up, again, was what I said, it's associating me with the religion, is the word freedom.
My sister and I think grew up in two different worlds. We grew up in the world of being Canadian and then also having this Parsi identity, which my parents held on to really closely.
My mom, being an Iranian, she was not very strict or very staunch, but I have studied in a school, Bengali Girls High School, where we were taught about our religion. We had a class, a special class for religion.
I was always taught that being a Parsi or being a Zoroastrian is about a certain faith. It's what you believe.
So Parsi traditions and culture, and going to our community center in Toronto called the Darbe Mir was a huge part of growing up.
It has brought me the long, long way till now. I know and I feel and I have tried it out. Prayers have been amazingly helpful for me.
And that is why I never had, it never gave me an adverse feeling towards religion. It never gave me the fear of God.
It has been such a lovely learning with childhood. As I know any problems whenever I face, I call to the Almighty, and my prayers does wonders in my life. It really helps me with miracles.
I met my husband Blair in 2000. So it was love, it was something that I never planned on, who I would marry, or that we just fell in love and we took things step by step.
And it was like our eyes met and we knew that he is for me and he felt the same way that she is for me. So initially itself, it was like, it's not just a fling, it is, we want to get married to each other. So that's how it started.
If someone asked me the exact moment I fell in love with him, I still can't pinpoint it. I really can't, but there were these small little things that all culminated together into making this big heart. And I have to spend the rest of my life with this person. Not for a moment did I think he's not from the same culture as me, or the same caste as me, or the same religion, or the same faith, because I believe in faith.
The only main reason that we were not getting married was, this is an intercaste marriage. So I had also grown up with one liner from my mom.
Parsi ne Panjo. Parsi ne Panjo was drilled in our head, and that means marry a Parsi.
So I bought a house in a Parsi community in a Parsi building, and with their rigid, I was going to say ridiculous, but I corrected myself, with the rigid rules for tenancy and property and all of that, I was very worried about my life's savings that I've put into this house could just get taken away from me like this for a blip they would consider in my character that I've married outside the community.
I think for them, keeping the community alive, and I say that not lightly because I think the survival of the religion, we talk so often about the dwindling numbers. So they really felt it was our responsibility to marry within the religion. And there was a huge pressure to do that.
A few years ago, in India alone, there were 150,000 of us. But now, there is less than a third left.
It was very difficult as it took us 10 years to finally convince our parents and even for us to really take that step.
So I didn't convert to Islam, nor was I forced to convert to Islam. We had a normal marriage. It's by the Special Marriage Act, which we have in India. When two people are from different religions, you have the Special Marriage Act. A lot of people did try to bring up hurdles, did try to be deterrents, but you just have to stick your ground because you're not doing anything wrong, you're not doing anything criminal. Why do you have to justify an act of love to anybody?
So as we started dating each other and all, I was not really telling my mom because I knew it would break her, it would hurt her.
That was a hard one because they knew Blair. We dated for so long. We lived away.
How I introduced him to my friends and family and how they reacted was something that I didn't have to really plan, because in the world of social media, everything gets taken care of lovely. It's just brilliant.
So it wasn't easy, but it wasn't difficult either. And when they came to know, of course, it was not through us. It was when somebody saw us, out together.
Adil put up a post on the 14th of February saying, "My forever Valentine." Much against my wishes, actually, because I didn't want to release it on Valentine's Day. It was such a cliche.
I think eventually my parents did come to learn about Blair and appreciate him, and they love him now. But it did take some time. The reaction was, I think, difficult at first because they really did want both their daughters to marry a Parsi.
But at the same time, I had to assure my mom that whatever happens, I am not going to change my caste. I am only going to be practicing Zoroastrianism.
I do practice the religion. My spouse completely supports it. My child is only 1.5 years old right now. But yes, he stands next to me, folds his hands, does Dadaji, tries to imitate everything I do.
So Blair and I have 3 children together. They're now 16, 13, and 11.
Yes, my son is practicing the Bodhi religion because I didn't want to confuse him. As I believe that prayers is very important, so I didn't want to confuse him by teaching him our religion as well as the other religion. So my husband took over completely where teaching their religion was concerned to my son.
Early on in our relationship, it was agreed. He was very open and he understood how important it was for me to raise children in the faith.
We pray together in such a way that maybe he is doing his namaz and I'm doing my kasti at the other side. It's that way. So it's never that they have stopped me. They have welcomed my religion very well.
Yes, he's extremely supportive. There are a lot of things that would have been accepted had he been a Hindu or a Christian, but as a Muslim, they're completely unacceptable in his religion. Like photographs around the place are considered unacceptable. We do chalk outside our house, which is very auspicious for us, which is unacceptable. But he never stops me from doing that.
So that was, I think, helpful that he supported the children being raised as Parsi. 2 of them have had their Navjots done, and the third one's having his done this summer.
The Parsi community does not allow women who marry outside their religion into their holy places. They're not even allowed to attend the funerals of their loved ones.
There's definitely a double standard in our community around that, but we're also in North America, so I think we have the opportunity to challenge certain things and really old beliefs.
You should allow, I feel if I am given a chance, I will say don't have any religion in the world.
To each his own. If you don't want to permit your child to marry outside the Zoroastrian community, that's something you want to have a conversation with your child about.
When our religion also came up years back, of course, it is not that everybody was a Zoroastrian or a Parsi. They might be following any other religion.
It seems very ironic to me that a religion that is based on doing good and thinking good also has these underlying messages of discrimination or superiority. The two don't jive together for me.
So if this topic comes up, I think that freedom of choice can be given. It's not that if it's only a male who gets married to the lady, only his kids can become Zoroastrian. That should not be the option if it's a decision of the family.
There is nothing different with a Parsi as with other community. If you're okay with interfaith marriages, so be it. If you're not okay with it, to each his own. I respect everyone's wishes. I wouldn't impose my thoughts on any other parent. I wouldn't want them to impose their thoughts on me. That's it.
So I think my advice might be really stay true to your values. And I think there's a way of both being possible at the same time, where you can be a good Zoroastrian or a good Parsi and marry out. It's dialectical thinking. But I think we have to come to terms with that, or we will lose a whole generation and a whole community of people who have chosen to marry outside.
When we first arrived, Parsis made a promise to the king who welcomed us that we would blend into their society like sugar in milk and make it sweeter. These women I spoke to are just a small number of the thousands of women who have similar stories to tell, but the pressure to conform to these norms stops them from doing so. The Special Marriage Act protects the sanctity of love between two people of different faiths or caste. But my community disregards this by not openly accepting their daughters and sisters. If nothing changes, I could be one of them.